Now at 11, a devastating tornado hits Alabama. Tonight, nearly 24 people have been confirmed dead. And we're settling in for a dangerously cold night in Portland. How officials are making an extra effort to get people off the streets. But first, police warning of purse snatchers targeting elderly women in one part of Portland.
Came up, pushed my grandma to the ground, knocked the walker over, and pushed my aunt to the ground.
One thief sent this man's family to the hospital.
This is KGW News at 11.
And we begin with that string of thefts and robberies in Southeast Portland's Jade District. Those suspects are targeting elderly Asian women carrying purses, and at least 2 people have been pretty badly hurt. Tonight, we spoke with one man whose grandmother and aunt were both robbed. KGW's Lindsay Nadrich joins us now live with what happened at that market. Lindsay.
Yeah, well, the man says his family members were pushed to the ground and robbed right here in this parking lot outside the Fubon Shopping Center on Southeast 82nd. He asked to remain anonymous because he's worried about retaliation. On a sunny Sunday afternoon, much like this, a Portland man's elderly grandma and aunt were doing some shopping here at Fubon.
They got out of their car, walking towards the entrance over here. Grandma walks with a walker, so my aunt was walking right next to her.
But they didn't even make it into the store.
She had her purse over her shoulder, and then these 2 guys just came up, pushed my grandma to the ground, knocked the walker over, and pushed my aunt to the ground.
Once on the ground, he says his aunt was dragged 10 or 15 feet. He shared these photos showing just how badly they were hurt. His grandma had to go to the ER.
She had to get stitches, and then about 2 days after the incident, her face and neck got really swollen and very bruised.
Surveillance video from Fubon shows 2 men with their hoods up in the parking lot. Police say this robbery is one of nearly a dozen where elderly Asian women have been targeted near Southeast 82nd and Division. The robberies date back to early December, but so far, no one's been arrested. Detectives believe a group of 4 African-American men, ages 16 to 20 years old, are responsible. They released photos and video of the group, hoping someone knows who they are. This surveillance video shows them in the mall after using one of the victim's stolen credit cards.
This needs to stop. I mean, luckily, my grandma's gonna recover from this, but I mean, this potentially could have been very serious or even deadly had she hit her head on the concrete.
Thankfully, his family members are doing okay. But as the bruises heal, the memory of what happened is harder to shake.
She's a tough one. She's trying to recover and, just trying to, told me to brush it off, let it go. But, that's my family. I can't let that go.
Well, detectives have gone undercover to try to catch these guys, but so far no one's been arrested. There's now a $2,500 reward for information that helps police find them. Back to you.
Good for him for speaking up. Those pictures are hard to look at. Poor women. All right, Lindsay, thank you. Turning to weather now, taking a live look over Portland at 11 o'clock here. It is 30 degrees outside, and Multnomah County officials worried it's going to get dangerous for those who sleep on the streets. So they have opened up over 300 severe weather beds at various shelters around the metro area. No one will be turned away. If more room is needed, they will open even more. Emergency beds are available at Bud Clark Commons downtown, Imago Day in Southeast, and the Sunrise Center in Gresham. If you see someone who may be in need of a warm place to stay, all you have to do is call 211 to find a shelter. They will even send a free ride to pick that person up. Meteorologist Joe Rainieri joining us now. Okay, how cold are we going to get?
Right around the low to the mid-20s. We could be looking at temperatures the coldest we've seen so far this winter, and it's the early part of March. It's a little while to see this kind of cold Arctic air move in this time of the year, but you can see temperature of 30 degrees. Now the temperatures might be saying upper 20s, low 30s throughout much of the metro area, but you factor in that wind chill, it's going to be feeling more like the mid to the upper teens out there, so bundle up. So here's a look at what we could be seeing here the next couple of hours. I'm expecting to see overnight lows drop down into the mid-20s in a few locations. Some of the rural spots and down into Salem, Eugene area could easily be down into the low 20s late tonight and early tomorrow morning. Happy Valley, you're looking at a temperature of 23 degrees at this hour. Boring 24, and over in Troutdale, a temperature temperature of 27 degrees. Now the coast will be a little bit warmer, but still I'm expecting to see lows dropping down into the Astoria and Cannon Beach, anywhere into the right around 22, 24 degree range. So that cold air is going to be sitting throughout the coast, the valley, and of course the east side of the state. The other thing we're looking at is the winds. The winds are going to be picking up tonight and into tomorrow and into Tuesday as well. We don't have any watches and warnings because of the wind, but gusts are going to be holding steady anywhere from 25 to 30 miles per hour. As we put this model into motion, you can kind of see downtown Portland late tonight and early tomorrow morning, right around 25, 27 degrees, or 27 in terms of the wind gusts. And then by late tomorrow morning in the afternoon, the winds will stop, but they pick up again late tomorrow night and Tuesday. I'll talk more about that. And another chance, yes, another chance, Nina, we'll be looking at a mix of some rain and snow by the middle part of the week.
Oh my gosh, it's never ending. All right, Joe, we'll see you in a few. Thanks. In the southeast part of the country tonight, they are dealing with deadly severe weather. At least 22 people have been killed in Alabama after a tornado ripped through. Thousands of homes without power tonight, and a state of emergency has been declared. NBC's Dan Sheneman shows us the damage there and from other winter storms today.
Powerful storms in the south.
It's amazing the amount of devastation that normal storms can do.
A tornado touched down in eastern Alabama Sunday. Trees were knocked down, buildings left in ruin, playgrounds mangled. The owner of this gas station says nothing can be salvaged.
Houses completely destroyed, homes that basically just slabs left where once stood a home.
Search and rescue operations have been launched. Residents left shaken.
This just came on so quick and changed so many lives that, I mean, it's really sickening to watch. But I'm grateful that my family's okay, and there's a lot of people out here that their family's not, and my heart goes out to them.
Near Macon, Georgia, another twister touched down. Devastation left in its wake. Also in the southeast, heavy downpours led to flooding. In Birmingham, Alabama, a woman had to be rescued when her car was surrounded by water. In Mississippi, roads were closed in Yazoo County, and residents had to leave their homes and find higher ground. A weekend of violent weather, leaving destruction behind. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
Well, meanwhile, parts of Oregon still without power a week after our major snowstorm hit, and it looks like it could be several more weeks before everything's fixed. Douglas Electric Co-op has crews working all over southern Oregon, but say in some of the worst hit areas, it could be 3 weeks before the power is back on. That's in parts of Drain and Scottsburg. The company says they've seen thousands of downed trees, hundreds of broken power poles, and miles of wire laying on the ground. Tonight, we are hearing from the family of an Oregon City man who died Friday after falling into a tree well on Mount Bachelor. 53-year-old Ken Brundage was skiing by the Northwest Chair with a group, but he got separated. Our affiliate in Bend talked with Ken's daughter, and she says when the group got to the bottom of the run, they started to panic when her dad didn't show up. The ski patrol found him in a tree well and couldn't revive him.
What's really important for us is to just let everyone know that our dad was an expert skier. Like, he knew what he was doing. He had a helmet on. He was doing all the right things. He was with other people. He was following people. And this was just like a freak accident that happened, and there was nothing else, he or anybody else could have done to prevent it.
Boy, this is the third death in Oregon involving tree wells just in the last few weeks. A snowboarder died at Timberline last weekend, and a man was killed on Mount Ashland last month. Well, a man died this morning in a fire that ripped through his home in Kaiser. This was in the Rainbow Gardens Mobile Village. It's a senior living center. Firefighters telling us a barking dog actually alerted neighbors to the flames. One neighbor went inside the home and was able to save someone, but they couldn't make it to the other person. A dog was killed, but a second one was rescued. We don't know yet what caused this, but investigators say it looks like, sadly, there were no working smoke detectors in that home. Thousands took to the streets of downtown Portland today as part of the Women's March and Rally for Action, and their goal was to engage and empower women to fight for positive change and equality. That march began 2 years ago after President Trump first took office. Then it brought out some 15,000 1,000 people. Today's march a little bit smaller. Among the speakers, Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici. She encouraged people to get more involved in their community.
It's important to be here today at the Women's March to send a message that it makes a difference to have women around the table. And we want and need more women to run for Congress and for elected offices here in Oregon and across the country.
I'm here because I want women of all races to be able to have equal pay, to be treated as equal people. And I don't think that's happening yet.
Along with Equality March attendees spoke about immigration issues, health care, and violence against women.